The sound of a leather briefcase hitting polished marble echoed through the courthouse hallway like a gunshot, sharp and final, and everyone turned their heads as a well-dressed lawyer stormed away without looking back. In the middle of that bright daytime hall, under the cold glow of skylights, a woman worth billions sat frozen on a wooden bench, her perfectly tailored suit suddenly looking too heavy for her shoulders. Papers trembled in her hands, not from fear of losing money, but from something far more terrifying, being completely abandoned when she needed someone to stand beside her the most. Before the story continues, pause for a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and unexpected heroes, please like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe to our channel Kindness Spark, where real humanity still shines through difficult moments. Her name was Serafina Vale, a self-made technology billionaire whose face had appeared on magazine covers for years, always confident, always untouchable. Yet now, in the full light of day, she looked small, almost invisible, surrounded by people who pretended not to notice her pain. The lawsuit threatening her company wasn't just about money or reputation. It was about accusations tied to a charity foundation she had built in memory of her late mother, claims that cut directly into the only part of her life that had ever been truly pure. When her high-profile lawyer decided the case was too risky and walked out, it felt like the final confirmation of what Serafina had always feared, that her worth only existed as long as she was winning. The courthouse smelled faintly of disinfectant and old paper, and footsteps echoed endlessly as people passed by, each one wrapped in their own urgency. Serafina stared at the floor, watching sunlight stretch across the tiles in slow, patient lines, wondering how something so bright could exist while her world was quietly collapsing. She had built skyscrapers of success, but not a single place where she felt safe. Her father had left when she was young, her mother had worked herself sick to raise her, and love had always come with conditions. Even now, surrounded by power and privilege, she was utterly alone. That was when Caleb Rowan pushed his cleaning cart around the corner. Caleb was the kind of man most people never really saw. In his late 40s, with graying hair tucked under a faded cap and hands rough from decades of honest work, he moved through buildings like part of the furniture. His uniform was plain, his shoes scuffed, and his eyes carried a quiet awareness that came from watching life happen from the edges. He worked the day shift at the courthouse, polishing floors and emptying trash bins while trials decided the fate of others. Years ago he had dreamed of becoming something more, but life had intervened, as it often does, leaving him with responsibilities instead of opportunities. As Caleb slowed his cart near the bench, he noticed Serafina's shaking hands and the stack of legal papers slipping dangerously close to the floor. Most people would have kept walking. It was safer not to get involved, especially with someone so clearly out of reach. But Caleb remembered another day, another courthouse, when he had been the one sitting alone after his wife passed away, and a legal technicality threatened to take his small home. Back then, no one had sat beside him either. He stopped. The daylight pouring through the tall windows caught the faint lines of exhaustion on Serafina's face, and for the first time that day, someone truly saw her. Caleb didn't know her net worth or her headlines. He only saw a woman drowning in silence. He set his cart aside and listened as she tried to steady herself, her controlled exterior cracking just enough to reveal years of bottled loneliness. Without dramatic words or promises, he offered presence, something far rarer than advice. As Serafina explained her situation, the injustice of it settled heavily in the air. The accusations were built on half-truths and convenient misunderstandings, magnified by people who wanted to see a powerful woman fall. Her former lawyer had calculated the risk and chosen self-preservation over loyalty. Caleb felt a familiar anger rise, not loud or explosive, but steady and resolute. He had seen systems fail good people before, and he knew how quickly fear could masquerade as professionalism. What Serafina didn't know was that Caleb had once studied law at night, decades earlier, before life forced him to drop out to care for his sick mother. He never earned the title, never wore the suit, but the knowledge never left him. He had spent years reading case summaries during lunch breaks, following trials the way others followed sports. It wasn't ambition that kept the knowledge alive, it was a belief that understanding the rules of the world was a way to survive it. As court officials began calling names for the next hearing, Serafina's chest tightened. Walking into that room alone felt impossible. The weight of expectation, of public scrutiny, pressed down on her like a physical force. She was used to commanding rooms, not being swallowed by them. Her confidence, once her greatest armor, had eroded under relentless pressure. Then Caleb did something no one expected. In the middle of that bustling courthouse, with daylight streaming in and strangers watching in quiet disbelief, he declared that he would stand with her, not as a savior or a hero, but as someone unwilling to let another person be crushed by indifference. The words came from a place deeper than ego, shaped by loss, regret, and an unshakable sense of fairness. For a moment the world seemed to pause, the echo of his resolve hanging in the air. Serafina looked at him as if she were seeing color after years of gray. Doubt flickered across her face, followed by something dangerously close to hope. She knew how absurd it sounded. A janitor stepping into a legal battle that could shake industries.